Hello. I fully think that's my intro. Just saying hello twice. Original. Anyway, I'm lonely and it seems like such a strange place to start, but where else can I start? I have no friends. Okay, let me correct that. I have one singular friend who lives in the UK and we speak maybe once or twice a day. If that. We never carry a full conversation. It's like a conversation throughout the days kind of thing, which is probably my own fault. But anyway, I don't have friends and it's so lonely to be in your 20s and no one speaks about it. So let's do it right here, right now. I mean, right now I live in Belgium. Now, I'm not someone ignorant enough to expect people to speak English to me. I know that I live in Belgium. They have 3 national languages, but the area I live, I mean, here they speak French, Dutch or German. Well, a tiny amount of people speak German because it borders Germany. But Dutch, like everyone speaks Dutch. Now, I know basic Dutch. If I was in a struggle, I could, at the bare minimum, ask someone for directions or ask someone, where is this? Where do I go here for this? But everyone here speaks Dutch and I don't. So, problem number 1 kind of thing on making friends. People do speak English, but speaking English here, people know English if you speak, like right now, what I'm doing right now, if you speak slowly and if you pronunciate your words to their fullest extent. You need to pronounce every single letter within that word. And when I speak really, really fast, I actually don't. I barely speak any words. When I'm speaking so fast, you don't hear a single word fly out my mouth. It's literally just a mumble of words. And in the UK, everyone would understand what I'm saying. Here, people genuinely are like, what language are you speaking to me right now? Because it's not English. And having a conversation here, people do know English, even if it's the bare minimum. There's a lot of people that know English. But you really have to enunciate your words, and it's bare basic conversation. It's not in depth. It's not. And if you don't really like enunciate your words, you really see people trying their hardest to understand what you're saying. But anyway, also where I live, it's, well, not too close to where I live, but it's heavy on students. International or from Belgium, it's just so heavy on students. And I mean, next year I do want to go to university if it's within the cards. I think it is, but anyway, I'm going to be 26 if I start university next year, and every other person is going to be 18, 19, 20, 21. What do I have in common with a 20-year-old? I will tell you, nothing. Absolutely zero. I don't have anything in common with a 20-year-old. The thought of me being friends with someone who's 20, that's like me being friends with an infant, with a child, a newborn baby. I genuinely cannot see myself being friends with that person because what do we have in common? Nothing. I don't have anything to speak to you about. So, yeah. So, I won't be able to make friends at uni if I do go. And everyone's going to look at me like the little old woman up the corner, which essentially I am an old woman, but anyway, I can't even make friends at work because I'm a cleaner. I go to people's houses, clean and leave. I speak to the families for 2 or 3 minutes every morning, like, hi, good morning, how are you, da-da-da. I'll speak to them in the morning, but there's no one there my age. There's no one I can make friends with. Through my work, I can't make friends. And I am chronically, well, I say chronic, I'm not. I can be, but day to day, I have anxiety. I have social anxiety. When I am walking around in public, I am hyper aware of every single person that is around me. If there's a group of people, I refuse to look at them. I will look down at the floor and walk past them. If there's a group of men, I will turn around and walk the other way. I refuse to walk past a group of men. Especially if you're walking down the street and there's a group of builders, my God, I will literally take the other route if it's 10 minutes longer. I don't care. I'm going that way. I'm not walking past these men. I refuse. Anyway, I have anxiety. Social anxiety. So I'm not really the poster child for making friends. It's a struggle. Being in your 20s is so lonely, especially if you live in a different country. I mean, duh, I really don't know. I don't know anyone that would think it's so easy to make friends in my situation. But you know, it's not. For anyone who thought it maybe would be, thank you for your optimism, but it's really not. Now, I have had friends, but what I'm lacking is a best friend. I need a girl best friend. I really do. Now, when I was younger, in high school, or just in school in general, you really don't need to try to make friends. Or you kind of do, but you kind of don't. If you have someone you get on with, you'll just immediately become friends when you're in school because you see them almost every single day. Minus the weekends, you see them Monday through Friday, every single day. You really don't need to try to be a friend of the person. If you get on, you'll just be friends. You spend so many hours with that person in the day. You spend your lunch break with them. Any classes that you have together, you'll be with that person. So you really don't need to try to be friends. But you don't... Right, my theory, my hot take, I guess, which isn't really a hot take, I need to shut up, is that you don't really need to try to make friends in high school or in school in general. You really don't need to try to be friends with people. You kind of just bond with that person anyway. If you're within the same kind of level of personality, you'll kind of just be friends. It kind of just comes naturally. Now, I've never been to uni, so I feel like I missed out kind of to experience uni and making friends that way, because I think that's when you do need to try and make friends. You need to try because you will go to... I mean, some people go to university with people from high school, so there you go, that's a friend. But some people go to university, like they go like 3-4 hours away from home, so you don't know anyone there, so you do have to try. You actually have to try and make friends. So that's probably the first instance where you need to try and make a friend. But I think, so leaving high school, I didn't go to university. When I was in high school, I had a group of friends, kind of. There was like a really big group of people, and then there was like a smaller group of friends, and I was in that smaller group. Those were the people that I'd speak to more often. They were friends, but none of them were best friends. There were some girls, some boys. None of them were best friends. Now, I left high school, and these people went to university. They went to different universities, but they all stayed in touch. But me leaving high school, I was going through a lot at that point. Listen to episode 2 for the in-depth version, but my mum kicked me out. I had to grow up very fast, get my first real job and stuff. So I was at that point having to grow up very quickly, very rapidly, and I was working. I had no time for anything really. Look, I was working full time. My first ever job was working in Starbucks. Now, if there's anyone listening who has worked in a Starbucks, I fully believe they're all the same. Toxic workplace. You absolutely trauma bond with the people that you work with there. I have such special relationships with the people that I worked with at Starbucks. They're not really like best friends, but we all have this understanding of like, you saw me at my worst. Those people have seen me at my absolute worst. So I have a very special place for those people in my heart. But anyway, I was working and I just did not have time like university students have time. When they wanted to go out in the week, I was like, I have work at 6 a.m. tomorrow, I cannot go out clubbing tonight. And they'd all go out, and I really think I missed a big opportunity there to make friends. But that's just the way the world works sometimes. But anyway, I think I grew up a lot after leaving school. And the people that went to uni, I'm not saying that they didn't grow up, but they grew up at a slower rate than me, I think personally. And I'll tell you why. So these people specifically, the people that I was friends with in high school, like the small group, there's like 2 or 3 girls and like 2 or 3 boys in this group. And I did not speak to this group for 2 or 3 years because of everything that went on with my mum. I had to move away from where I did live at the time, so I was like an hour away from where I used to live. So it was very hard for me to like go and meet these people and just have the time to do so. So 2 or 3 years down the line anyway, I hadn't spoken to these people for a while. It had been a while. And my friend that I still speak to at the time said to me, like, we're going to meet up for some food and some drinks. Come and meet us. And I was like, okay, sure. Anxiety through the roof because, yes, I know these people, but I knew them when they were in high school. It's like after uni now, so I don't know who these people are. They've changed so much. But I went anyway. I kicked my anxiety to the curb and I said, just go. You'll enjoy it. I should have listened to my anxiety because I did not enjoy it for one bit. And I will tell you why. So the way that I think conversations in general work is that if it's someone that you've never met before, your first conversation will just be, hi, how are you? What do you do for work? Basic conversation. Character building, essentially. Like, you're building each other's character profiles. Anyway, if you have a conversation with someone that you used to know but you lost touch or whatever, so my scenario, a bit more in depth, so like, what do you do for work now, and like, oh, how's so and so, or but really it's still quite basic conversation because you're two different people. Like, you genuinely change so much within a month or 2 months. I think month by month you change a lot as a person, so 3 years is a hell of a long time. And then intimate conversations are for like best friends and close people, close relatives and stuff. Now, I hadn't seen these people for years, and we met up, and all that the girls, and the guys joined in as well, but they were kind of having their own separate conversation. All the girls would speak about is like sex, their partners. Like, one girl had a partner at the time, and she was telling us about all the stuff that they'd do together, or like what their newest thing was. And there's another girl who was bragging about how many people she'd slept with. And right, I'm not shaming in any way, but I was so uncomfortable. I'm glad that they felt comfortable enough to have those conversations, and they were kind of having those conversations between each other. It wasn't really with me, but I was just sat there feeling so uncomfortable. Like, I thought this would just be catch-ups, basically, like, oh my god, what's gone on, what's happened, haven't seen you for so long, how's life in general. And they just wanted to speak about that for like 2 hours, and I really did not want to be there. I wanted to disappear. I wanted to transport myself back home. It was so uncomfortable, and never seen them since. I have not seen them since, obviously, because I really don't see why I'd want to go see them again, you know. Like, I don't want to go through that hell for a second time, so no thanks. Like, the place that I was at then and where I'm at now, like, I was just different in my headspace completely. I matured a hell of a lot, and I had complete interest in different things. Like, when you're younger, sex and all of that is a heavy topic because you go through puberty, you have your like sexual awakening, shall we say, and you're discovering who you are, and you're seeing different people and stuff. So it is a heavy topic. Like, it's a subject that's spoken about a lot with friends and things because it's part of growing up. It's part of that timeline when you're in your late teens and stuff. That's literally all anyone wants to speak about, so I understand it then, and I was a part of it then. Like, I get it. But now, when you're like in your very early 20s, I don't care about that stuff. Like, yeah, it's a part of life, but I fully reserve those conversations for like very close friends. I'm not going to speak about intimate things like that with people that I haven't met for like 3 years. It's jarring in a way. Like, I was just sat there like in shell shock almost, because I was like, oh hi, I haven't seen you for 3 years. Anyway, my partner does this to me on a night, and I'm like, I really don't want to hear about what he does on a night, thank you. I just want to ask how uni was to start with. What did you even study? Like, and it was just, yeah, not something I ever want to experience again. Now, I did have a shot at a friendship, and I fucked it up, and I will tell you why. So I was friends with this specific girl in primary school. We met in primary school, we went to the same primary school. And we also then went to the same high school, but we were kind of in different friendship groups at that point. So we were friends, but not really as close as friends. And then after high school, we just didn't speak, never spoke to each other. And then a few years later, we got in contact, and it came about by, there was a girl, like the group that I went to see that was really awkward. There was a girl in that group that was also very good friends with this girl that I used to be friends with in primary school. And this girl said to me, like, oh, like, so-and-so always asks about you. She asks about how you are and stuff, because she noticed that you're kind of socialising again now. And she wants to, like, do you want her number, or like, do you want to contact her or whatever? So we started getting in contact, and we started speaking, and it was just crazy, like, oh, we haven't spoke to each other for so many years, like, how's things and stuff. And then a few weeks later, we did meet in person, and it was just a catch up. I told her all the stuff that happened with my mom, and she was gobsmacked because she'd met my mom and she really didn't think she was that kind of person. But I said to her, I was like, well, she always was that person. She was just very good at hiding it. And she told me about stuff that she'd been through, and like, she went to uni and then she dropped out, I think. And it was just a catch up, basically. A normal fucking conversation for once. And it was really, really nice, actually, to speak to someone different. And then we, like, went away, and we were trying to organise meeting up again. Now, at this point, I really do put it down. I fully blame myself, but I do put it down to kind of, like, wrong timing, bad timing. Because at this point in time is when I was getting ready to move to Belgium. And I had a million different thoughts in my mind. I was thinking about the budget of everything. I was thinking about, at the time, I was bringing my cat with me, so I was thinking about having to get all of the documents and things for him, because if he wasn't coming, I wasn't coming. And I had to think about the documents that I needed for my visa, which the government website was no fucking help, but also every single website that I went on to was just different information completely compared to the next one. I had to, like, try and acquire these different documents, which was so many different phone calls, emails, everything. I had to get apostilles for the documents, which, if no one knows what that is, it's basically you send these documents to the government, and then they add, like, this piece of paper to say, yeah, they're real, which is expensive to say the least. And I had to also pack up all of my stuff. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have the world's most amazing dad, and he actually drove me to Belgium. Like, we went through the Eurotunnel, but I had to pack up my whole life into one car, and I had to throw so much stuff away, but I had to sort through everything. I was trying to sell a lot of my clothes because I couldn't take them all, and also I had not worn some of these clothes for years. But I had to sell some of my stuff, and there was just a lot going on. So I do put it down to bad timing, but I am also the worst person for texting and replying and things. If I don't think your text is, like, immediate reply, like, if you don't need to hear it from me now, I probably won't reply to you for 2 or 3 days. And that's what happened with this girl. We were texting back and forth about trying to meet up for a second time. And she said to me, she was like, I'm free on this day, and I just didn't reply back to her. And then it actually got to, like, a week later, and I was like, shit, like, just out of my mind, I was like, shit, I didn't reply to this girl. And then I got so anxious because I really self-sabotaged myself, and I thought, well, I haven't replied to her for a week, so she's gonna feel, which is obviously very warranted for her, but she's going to feel like I don't give a shit. So if I replied back, she probably won't bother, which is Look, I really don't blame her in any way. Like, if you don't, to build a friendship, it's a two-way street, babe. You can't just put it all in and expect nothing back. So I just didn't reply back to her, which is a very shit move. Like, I ghosted her, essentially, and I feel really bad about it. I still do, because I think we could have had a very good friendship, but in that point in my life, just I can't handle so many things at once. It's really weird the way that my brain works. If I'm at work everything could be going to shit. Literally, I could have someone shooting at me. I could have everything exploding around me, a fire, a fucking tornado, a tsunami, and I will handle it with grace. I'll be stressed. I will have steam coming out of my ears. I will be so stressed, but I can handle it. If I'm not in a work scenario, if I'm not at work and all of that happens, I'd just die on the spot. I'd combust. I would not know what to do. I'd just fold in on myself. And I really could not handle it. And I was just having to do so many different things, and my brain was just getting so overwhelmed. And especially at this point as well, at work, so much shit was going on. I need to do like a work tea. I've been in Starbucks for many years. I could dish the dirt on Starbucks, honestly. Like, if any single person's worked in Starbucks, it's just shit, hell, vile. I've already said this. I'm literally repeating what I said word for word, but it's absolute hell. But I also had drama at work, of course, at Starbucks. So there was just a lot going on, and I really could not sustain a friendship in that kind of environment. Like, I would not allow myself to. I genuinely did not allow myself to. And I really wish I did, because we could have been really good friends. Like, we were really good friends in primary school and high school, but I don't know, I just self-sabotaged, and I really wish I didn't, but I did. I was absolutely in the wrong there, but I'll admit it and I'll own it. And I know to never do it again, because it gives me this feeling of being fucking lonely because I have no friends. And if any single person is thinking, how can you not have friends, like, just go out or go, like, it can't be that hard. It really is that hard. Like, I think the people that this is gonna sound so bad, and I'm so sorry if I offend anyone, but I think the people that have friends really don't see how hard it is to make friends, because it comes so naturally. But then the people that don't have friends, even if you've had friends in the past, I don't know how to make a friendship at this point. I've had friends, but now, and I'm nearly a 25-year-old woman, I don't know how to make friends. I don't know where to start making friends. I don't know why anyone would even want to be my friend. I just don't know what friendship is anymore, genuinely. And I think a large part of this, like, I just want a friend, because at the moment I just have my boyfriend, which I love him dearly, but it's a very different relationship between a boyfriend and a friend. And I see him, like, he does have friends, and they'll plan evenings together. Like, they play games and stuff, and they play games online together a lot, and they'll plan these evenings, and I'll just sit at home so alone, because I don't have that. Even if it was an online friend, I don't have an online friend. I have no one. Genuinely, I have no friend, and I want one. I want a friend so bad. If I can buy one, I would. It's getting to that kind of point, you know. And I just feel so isolated. Like, I feel like I'm missing a world that exists, that everyone else is a part of, and I'm not. Like, you know what I mean? But I think I'm kind of glorifying friendship here, because friendship isn't like this magical gateway to a new world and instantly I'm happy. That's not the case at all. But it kind of is. Like, I just want a friend. But it's just, right, I call myself an old soul. I'm literally an old woman. I don't see the appeal to going out clubbing every single night, to drinking until you cannot remember the next day, to doing all these dangerous different things and whatever. I don't see the appeal in it. I would much rather have a night in, order some food, watch a movie, be in bed by 10, you know. I live a quiet life, and I'm very happy with it, because I fully think I've had all of my drama within the last few years. That's enough to tie me over for my life, you know. I don't want any drama. I don't wish to be in any drama. I love drama, don't get me wrong. I love hearing about other people's drama and being like, no way. But I don't want to be a part of it. I want to be left alone, kind of thing. But I just want a person to have movie nights with, or just have a chat with, go on coffee dates, go on a walk in a park or something, have a picnic. I would love to have a picnic with someone. I genuinely just want to have nice memories with someone. I just want to do things with a friend. I need a girl best friend. I just need a friend. And to say that you're 25 and you don't have friends, or like you're a loner, people must look at you like you've got two heads, like what's wrong with you kind of thing, because how does someone not have a friend? But I genuinely don't. Like I don't have someone that I speak to every single day. I don't have a friend that I can just be like, guess what happened to me, or like you'll never guess what this person's just said, or you'll never guess what I've just done. And I don't have that person, and I have had instances like that, and it feels so nice. It feels liberating in a way to have someone that's so, like, if you're so happy and you have someone else that's so happy for you, it's a special kind of feeling that you genuinely cannot describe. It's just, you just feel like on top of the world kind of thing. And also in the same instance, if you're so sad, if you're just having a day where you genuinely just don't want to do anything, or if something's happened and you're so sad, and there's a shoulder to cry on, I think really don't take it for granted, because it's a very rare thing, honestly. But also that leads me into the quality of friendships. Now, every single girl, I really want a girl best friend, but every single girl that I've been at least friends with, we just don't vibe. We really just don't vibe. And I've always said I get on better with guys because they're so chill. And I'm going to sound like such a pick-me girl there. I know I am. I know I'm going to sound like such a pick-me girl. But every single girl that I've kind of been friends with has just always been so dramatic. Always getting in fights with someone. Not physical, but always getting in fights, or always having such strong opinions about people, and they don't just keep their mouths shut. I have opinions on people, but if they're not the nicest opinion, it doesn't mean I've got a fucking voice every single opinion I have about someone. Just shut your fucking mouth. You know what I mean? And like, every girl that I know has just been drama every single time, and I just can't deal with it. I just don't care. And I just can't be bothered with it. And like in high school, every girl was just boy mad, and I could not give two shits. And I don't know, like I've just never vibed with a girl that well. And I just wish I had a girl best friend. Like, I think finding a really good girl best friend is so rare. I'm proof enough of it, because I don't have one. Because I can't find one. Like, where is she? Where is my girl best friend? Like, she must be out there somewhere. And it's just, I'm just so lonely. I am living a lonely life. I live a very happy life, don't get me wrong. I'm very happy and settled in the life that I have with my partner. But I just need a friend to share it with. Like, I genuinely just need a person to vibe with, and I don't have that person to vibe with. But I also think the main part of it right now is just where I live. Like, I live in Belgium. I cannot speak Dutch well enough yet. And a lot of people do speak English. But I think if someone met me initially and had to speak English to me, it's probably the same instance for them. Like, they probably have to really try and think about what they're trying to say. And it's like the language barrier. Like, I'm never going to have a fully relaxed conversation with someone here, minus my boyfriend. But I'm never going to have that friendship feeling, and it's a shame, because I want a friendship feeling. And there's just, it's a very strange time, your 20s, because you grow in so many ways, but you also feel like you're lacking in so many ways, or like you're missing so many things. And I just genuinely, I don't know how people make friends in their 20s. It's so scary for me to even think about, because I want a friend so bad, but I do not know the first step to making a friend. I don't know. I don't want to I don't want to go out and seek a friend, because I don't feel like that's natural. But then what other natural way is there to come about a friend? Because as I am right now, I go to work, I can't make friends at work. I don't go out. I go food shopping and come back home and like there's nowhere for me to make a friend, honestly. And I genuinely just feel so alone, and it's such a strange feeling. Like I didn't think at 18 that I'd be where I am today. Like I don't, you just assume that you'll always have someone to speak to, and I do have a person to speak to, but on a friendship level I don't. And you don't grow up thinking you'll have no friends, and then you have no friends and you look at your life and you're like, oh, like you have a happy life but you do miss a friend. But if there's anyone else who's like in the same position, not necessarily living in a different country because that's kind of unique, but if there's anyone who's not got any friends and you're also in your early mid-20s, are you coping? Like, can we be friends? Please just say we can. Just send me a message. We're friends now, and there you go. Done and dusted. We've both got a friend. But yeah, I mean, if there's anyone else, comment. How do you cope with it, or how do you not cope with it? Because I'm not coping. I am not coping in any way, shape or form. But anyway, yes, I'm going to go now. So I will see you all next week. Bye.